Hi everyone! In today's video, I want to show you my favorite kimchimandu recipe. It's a Korean-style dumpling that has kimchi and other amazing healthy ingredients in it. Kimchimandus are perfect for having guests over and they're super convenient. You can freeze them and later have them as a quick, healthy snack. They're also perfect for a simple packed lunch. Without further ado, let's get into the recipe. Okay, so let's start with the dubu. I hope you can get some dubu like this one from a nearby grocery store. Make sure to get the dense dubu and not the soft dubu that looks like pudding. Crumble your dubu into a strainer with the kneading motion. The purpose behind this is to get moisture out of it. This should be good enough, but because I want my dubu to be really dry, I'm going to put a heavy glass bowl on top and add even more weight by putting water inside the bowl. We're going to let the dubu sit for a while and move on to the sprouts. We never want to overcook our sprouts and have them soggy. I recommend putting them into a pot of boiling water for about 1 to 2 minutes and you're good to go. The tip here is to put the sprouts under cold, running water right after you drain the hot water because you don't want residual heat to keep steaming your sprouts. Okay, so this is kind of a challenging part. We have to wring out the water from the sprouts by taking a handful and squeezing with our palms like this. And the reason behind this is we don't want the filling of our dumpling to be super wet. We want it to be juicy but not wet. So try as hard as you can to get rid of a lot of moisture. You'll find that you can never squeeze these bad boys enough. Water will keep coming out no matter how many times you squeeze. So just repeat this squeezing motion for about 3 times for each bowl, and that should be good enough. Alright, this is the third ingredient, which is ground pork. If you're a vegan, skip the meat. Kimchimandus are still fantastic without any meat in them. As you can see here, I'm only going to use exactly half of the pack, which is 600 grams. We have to season the meat, so I'm using this plastic container as a mixing bowl. This is the part that determines if your mandu turns out really flavorful or really bland. Keep in mind that the ground pork will be mixed with everything else later in the process, so we want to make sure that we have enough seasonings in the meat. Let's start with soy sauce. If you're making a big portion like I am, then I would say use 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Soy sauce is all we're using for saltening, so you could use a little more depending on how much saltiness you want. Throw in a tablespoon of sugar and a tablespoon of sesame oil or any vegetable oil of your choice. What makes your dumpling mix really flavorful is a little bit of ginger. I have some fresh chopped ginger frozen and ready to go here, but you could replace that with a teaspoon of ginger powder. That's it for seasoning. I'm keeping it very simple for now because we have yet to throw in our kimchi, which has very strong flavor as it is. So don't worry too much about how this is all going to come together because at the end, kimchi will work its magic and make everything better. Here's a small tip. Just to make sure I've done enough seasoning, I like to take a small piece of the meat and cook it on a frying pan. Taste the meat and try to judge what to put in more. You don't have to do this, but this little step just might save your entire dumpling stuffing. If it turned out too salty, then add more ground pork or dubu. If it turned out too bland, then add more soy sauce. Mine turned out exactly how I wanted, so I'm moving on. Last but not least, we have our kimchi. Make sure to use a generous amount. I'm using a whole cabbage that will be chopped up later, and also a generous amount of green onions. I make sure to use all the different parts of the green onions because each section has a unique taste. We're almost there! We're in the very last section of the process, which is mostly chopping. Chop kimchi, green onions, and sprouts to the very fine pieces, and we'll finally mix everything together. So bear with me as I chop away. As I finish chopping each ingredient, I'm putting it into the bowl right away and mash it in with other ingredients. Okay, now that we've finished chopping, the only thing left is our dubu. Remember we put our dubu under a heavy bowl to drain all the water? You can see that quite a bit has come out. It's now perfect to throw into the mix. As you're mixing and mashing the ingredients, make sure that the texture is as thick as the cookie dough and the color is reddish-orange. Feel free to add some more ingredients at this point. It's also a great idea to use some extra red juice from the kimchi or red pepper powder for more vibrant color and spicy flavor. We're finally done with our mandu stuffing. Let's move on to the fun folding part. Yay! As for dumpling wrappers, you could make some from scratch, but it's way too time consuming. So I definitely recommend buying them from a store like I did here. If you've made a big portion of stuffing like I did, then make it a family event to all get together and fold up some dumplings. You'll be surprised how relaxing and fun this activity can be. Unfortunately, I don't have a footage of cooking these fresh mandus at that time because I was in a rush to treat some guests, but I did freeze them for later, so the following footage is me cooking frozen mandu. One more tip when you're cooking frozen dumplings like I'm doing here is once each side of a dumpling has turned slightly brown, put a little bit of water into the frying pan and close the lid. This helps the dumplings cook all the way through. When the water is evaporated completely from the pan, then take off the lid and keep turning your dumplings to make sure both sides are cooked properly. Okay, so that was my take on the Korean traditional kimchimandu, and I hope you try this at home with family or friends. It's such a fun activity, and although it is a little bit time consuming, you could definitely make a larger portion while you're at it and keep a lot of them in the freezer for later, which I think is worth doing. 만두 맛있게 드세요. Enjoy your mandus. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like the video, and if you like to follow up on more amazing Korean style cooking videos, then please subscribe to my channel. I promise to feed you with the most yummy content. Hope you have a great day and goodbye.